unajua ukifanya unasikianga uchungu. Nakwambia kwanza mara kwanza akiniambia Kid Max when you imagine it is very painful. Hata unaweza hata kutoka damu. Unasikia uchungu mwingine hata unajisikia maishani mwako. But lazima ujikaze juu ni pesa unatafu. And you know in South Africa you must escape xenophobia. You know, imagine somebody taking a tire and putting in then it takes a fuel. And imagine what's happening. Imagine how do you feel? But hiyo kazi si rahisi. Kama hiyo kazi it's risking. You are risking because you can even get HIV and AIDS. Because I used to remember there's my friend in Zimbabwe up to nowadays is HIV positive. But me, every time I got, I'm negative. I don't have that kind of disease because you know when you get HIV and AIDS, like you are in a coma, you are dead.
So challenges are your job, Niganya?
You find like you have slept with a man, he refuses to pay you. Some of them anakuchukulia advantage. They give you money, they insult you. Some of them unapata nakwambia ulambe hiyo kitu yake imagine. Sasa nakwambia ulambe kwanza ndio kuingia ingize. Sasa unashanga utafanya aje? Juu anakwambia unataka pesa. Kama mzungu wa buru si rahisi, sitaki kudanganya ati kudanganya ati hiyo pesa inapata kwa rahisi.
Hello and welcome to Jalango TV, where we change lives, we do human interest stories and amazing stories. My name is Edith Mackrell and I'm with my director Daya. Today's story is very amazing. Imagine this guy has been in Saudi Arabia for 2 years and he has gone through a lot, and he's here to share the story, the experience and all that, whatever he went through while in Saudi Arabia. And maybe before we go to our guest, in case you have a story out there you want to share with us, we have a number down there in the comment section. Just reach us through that number. You can inbox that number, then we'll be able to reach you. And without further ado, allow me to introduce our guest. Karibu sana.
My name are Collins Aura Revolution. But my known name or my nickname, Mama Soweto, the upcoming actor, and
AKA Mama Soweto,
and ex-Saudi, and I'm ready to reproduce more movies if I get a chance. And if people they want to find me on any internet, they can find me on YouTube, Mama Soweto, on TikTok, Mama Soweto.
Before we move on to that, Mama Soweto,
yes.
Where did the name Mama Soweto come from?
Do you know, I was looking for a role of acting, and you know, I've got the features of a girl. Do you know, when I used to be in Saudi Arabia, they used to call me Dem. When ni dem yangu, you are my girl. So,
do your shape, the way,
because I'm behaving the way the shape of the shape. So I introduced myself Mama Soweto. So that name really trend up to now.
That name ilianzia kule Saudi Arabia ama hapa Kenya?
It started in South Africa.
Oh, South Africa. You've been also in South Africa,
Botswana and Zimbabwe. And Saudi Arabia and Egypt.
Yeah. You told me you've been in Saudi Arabia for 2 years, right?
2 years, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you can just tell our audience what happened.
Do you know, my journey started when I was in Uganda. Me, I'm an African in Uganda and Kenya. My mother is a Nubian Ugandan. My father is a Kiriama, but most of the time I used to stay in Uganda because my father they were having marriage issues. Then my father had 4 wives. My mother was the 3rd wife. So when I was in standard 6, life it wasn't easy for me. Because my mother used to work in abroad, most of the time in Saudi Arabia, in Egypt, in Lebanon. Do you know when my auntie and my grandmother were being sent money, the money you couldn't, they weren't giving us our basic needs. You find most of us, we go and start selling the groundnuts, the guavas, the bananas in Bali. So it wasn't easy for us because I used to remember my sister. She was being married at an early age. So because of the of the circumstances
that you went through.
we went through, because and my aunt used to abuse us. So there was a uncle who used to be in South Africa. I told him, "Ami uncle, I'm not well at school, but I can be well at doing the labor." And my uncle told me, I will process for you all the traveling papers or the documents. After you are processed for you, you have reached South Africa, you'll be paying my money in small quantity, little by little. So he made for me passport, the good conduct, everything. Then do you know at that time we were going to South Africa, we were traveling to South Africa by bus. So after moving from Uganda, we went to Tanzania. Tanzania, Malawi. From Malawi to Zambia. Zambia, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, do you know when we are crossing the we are coming across South Africa, at the border there's a river which is known as River Limpopo. There's a name of, do you know when you are at Mushina, you are in South Africa. When you are at a Beta Bridge, you are in Zimbabwe. So you must give them at least something. Those the guys who guide at the border of Zimbabwe and South Africa. And we crossed. And
so you bribed them in order for you to cross
50 rand.
Oh, okay. That's how much to Kenyan money?
I can say like, I don't know, but I know 1 rand at that time it was 10 shillings.
Oh, okay.
10 Kenyan shillings, you can convert it.
Oh, okay.
So after traveling to South Africa, going to penetrate, my uncle knows how to speak South Africa very well. Even me, I know how to speak South Africa very well. So I had them telling them Unjani. So this what they say. Are you Zulu? We say we are Zulu, but my uncle said, I'm a vendor, but I know to speak Zulu because Zulu is the national language of South Africa, the national ethnic language. Because during South Africa, you must know how to speak 12 languages. Like for example, Sutu, Northern Sutu, Stonga language, Xhosa, Ndebele. They are northern from Zimbabwe and southern. There is which was known as Swazi. And others on in Venda. So after when I reached the Venda land in Limpopo province, I started working as a gardener. After all working as a gardener, it wasn't easy because you know they weren't giving me adequate food. And you know in Venda in South Africa there is xenophobia. They say you foreigners you have come to steal their umsegevenze. Do you know the umsegevenze is their job?
Oh, that's their job. Yeah.
Then they start calling you magweregwere. Magweregwere, you are a foreigner. You magweregwere. So do you know me, I was really fast at capturing the language. So I started knowing how to speak the Venda. When I was in Venda, I was very fast because they speak Venda. For example, when you see a grandmother or an elder person, you call her vo. Vo. If, for example, I can call you vo Edmax. Vo Mama Soweto. For example,
that is a
Venda language. Venda language
okay.
is a type in South Africa, mythic language. Do you know in South Africa, most of the time I used to work harder because to replace the money of my uncle, which he processed for me everything. Do you know, he was a kind man because he told me, I know the way that family it's full of witchcraft, full of jealous, but I know I'm going to help you because your mother used to help me when I was young. In South Africa, I used even to wash older elders. And I used to nurse them. So you wash them, you give them food. They give you the person who has given me the work or the role of taking care of his own father. You give me something. At least at the end of the day, you give me like 10,000 rand, and it was more in Ugandan shillings and in Kenyan shillings. But do you know the expenses in South Africa? They are more because you must pay the house, must do what? Then the person who is hosting you must pay him something. My uncle, I must pay him his debt. In South Africa, we used to even to harvest the grapes, the apples. I used to do even the cleaning, sometimes helping them in terms of cleaning. Even most of them, they used to say I look like South African, but I wasn't in South African. So at that time, when I used to travel to Pretoria, to KwaZulu-Natal, to Durban, to Cape Town, to Port Elizabeth, I used to meet with my friends in from Zimbabwe. We can say just our fellow nationalists, our fellow Africans.
Africans, yeah.
They used to do gay. So do you know me?
Most of them are gays.
Yeah, they were gay. Some, and women, they were prostitutes. So I was asking them, why are you doing this? They're telling us, do you know, in South Africa, if you want to survive, you must sell yourself at least to get So I used to remember the way life it was when I ran out from my boss in Venda. I went to Ngatwing province in Soweto, to stay there in Soweto. So I met a man who told me, a Zimbabwean man, I can introduce you to this job. I will teach you. And I told him, how can I do it? And I had that thing is too painful. And he told me, no.
So you accepted to do that job?
Because, do you know, of the conditions. Because, you know, South Africa, the expenses, then there's xenophobia. Because me, I really tell people, I appreciate this country. Do you know, this country of Kenya is free. It does not have any xenophobia. Anyone can enter. It has many foreign nationals. But in South Africa, it has more than Kenya. But what you fear is xenophobia. When you start opening a business, they attack you. They attack your business. They ban your business. When you're a foreigner, you start working, you walk in fear. Because you may meet someone, take a tire, put you on, and ban you up. And you are his fellow African.
They only do that to foreigners?
Yeah, foreigners.
To their own...
Yeah.
Or only foreigners?
Foreigners.
Oh, okay.
So they ask you, unjani, sabonani. Or if you are,
what is the meaning of that?
Sabonani, good morning.
Oh,
good morning. It depends. Do you know, like, for example, the Tswana language, they use it, ask you, because you know, the Tswana is the second least, and Hosa we say molo. Then in Tswana we say dumelang. So, me at my first time experience, it was painful. It was painful. The pain I haven't even had in my life. Because, and the Zimbabwean told me, it will never be painful. Do you know, when the man takes off his penis, he apply a little bit of gel or the oil. So he started lying with me. Do you know, I felt the pain which I haven't felt in my life. And at that time, you know, my ass, I felt like, no, even going to erect, and my anus, it really expanded a little bit. But he told me, you'll be used to eat. And that man gave me a lot of money.
Like how much?
I can say like 30,000 rand, South African rand. And he told me he shall offer me a place to live. So I gave my uncle the money. He appreciated it, and he told me thank you. But he didn't know I was doing it. I was a gay in South Africa, and in Soweto. So I used to travel with that man.
Oh, there is a place also called Soweto.
See, that's the main.
That's where your name came from.
Yeah, Mama Soweto.
Okay.
Because I used to sell myself. You know, at that time I used to be very curvy. Because, you know, in this Kenya, when you turn back, no problems. But in South Africa, I was very curvy. You know, eating very well, relaxing. Life, it was good. So, but me, I had an aim of bringing Mtumba from Kenya to Uganda, selling my bubble seeds, those Nubian foods, because you are being talented in cooking. Even though I like doing drama and soapies, I like to be a host like you one day. If God gives me the chance, or if anyone has a chance of giving me. In South Africa, then in South Africa it has a lot of diseases like HIV and AIDS. But I really thank my God I didn't get HIV and AIDS. I remember when there was a time I went there in 2007 in South Africa. Xenophobia started. When I listened to the xenophobia, I said no. Some just told me, I just told my boyfriend, I want to travel back to Uganda. I shall meet you.
You are staying together.
Yeah, we were staying together. He was connecting me with more jobs.
So you are acting as a wife.
I was a wife because
you were a woman. Then he was a man.
Then he liked me because I knew how to cook, doing the cleaning. Even
so you just do the wifely duties.
Yeah. Then you know South Africa that LGBTQ and gay is being legalized. So it's not a problem to them. It's not new to them. They are being used to it.
So you are married to this guy?
Yeah, but it wasn't. We can say, is it in the court or official? No, it wasn't official. It was an official. But
That
used to
guy had a wife,
no,
or he wasn't married.
because you know that he was a gay. That man was too a gay.
But there are some who are gays, but they have wives.
He didn't. Because he told me he has no children. And most of most of his own brothers, they used to come and visit me. I used even to cook for them those kaimatis, maambris. They asked me, hey, yeah, you know how to cook. You have taken care of our brother because he was a white man, but the white who was being born in South Africa, he knows how to speak Zulu, the vendor, the 12 language of South Africa. I told him he gave me so much much commodities, the money, so that I could stable myself. I said, I shall return back. So I really imagined myself, what was that I was doing in South Africa? Returning back to Uganda, I gave my grandmother money. I was enjoying going at least to some weddings. So I used to go to and visit witches and sorcerers. So you know those witches, they take like this your hand and they start indicating whether your future it will be well or it will be bad, and asking you, telling you how you'll be living there. You must give them something so that they could see up for you.
And what made you take that decision?
It's part of our culture most of the time, because even my mother, even
in your culture, where you've come from.
Yeah, because you know witchcraft, being used to witchcraft. Some of them they use snakes, they use even rats.
So it's normal.
It's normal for us. So they take your hands. Some of them they just look at you. They say, when you go there, you shall die. And it comes as true. Some of them, if you want somebody to become your husband, they are the love portion. So you can, most of the people, they say they do not like Ugandans. That is true, because most of the Ugandans, we use potions, the love potion, the witchcraft, the charm. This, like when I went to them, they told me, you shall survive in Saudi Arabia, but there you shall be doing bad things. No, me, I've given you money. You have told me about it. So after I started being broke in our village, I decided to go back to Kampala so that I could work.
Now you left South Africa?
I've left South Africa. I've come to my own because of xenophobia. I lied to my boyfriend.
Now did your boyfriend take it after you leaving?
He just so like it's normal. I turned back. So
he gets another girlfriend?
No, I don't know. I didn't even want to care about it. Because me, I had my aim and my dream. Because I was with him for survival. I hadn't put him in my heart. So that when I went to Kampala, I really saw an Arab, and I was working for an Arab. I didn't even know he was an Arab from Saudi Arabia, but they were from Yemen. But they had an agency. They had the process of bringing people to abroad. So when I was cleaning, he looked at me, and when he was speaking Arabic. So I used to remember my mother used to work in Saudi Arabia, in Lebanon, but my mother now, she works in abroad, at least in the United States of America, but we are not in good terms.
Why?
Because he has another man. He didn't tell us, and he does not care about us because she's married to another place.
To a Mzungu?
Yeah, to a Mzungu, yeah. And she has another children.
What? And your siblings, you are how many from Uganda?
We are 13.
Plus the...
Do you know my mother, at first place, in the first place, the former husband, we had gave birth.
Before she got married to your dad?
Yeah, Fugiriama. She had two children, twins, in our home 7. Then she got married to another Mkalinjin, behind 4 children. So my mother, I don't know, she has how many in Europe.
Yeah, she was that tough woman.
Yeah, she's brave.
She was no joke.
Do you know?
So you don't talk? You don't talk with your mom?
A little bit, but I'm not being used to her. I just love my daddy because my dad, at least He's the one who gives me courage.
Your dad is in Uganda, right?
She's in Kenya.
Oh, he's
because,
in Kenya.
Because he's a Kenyan. My mother, she's in Ugandan. Because
Okay.
I like staying in Uganda because of behalf of my mom.
Oh, okay.
So when I was sweeping the compound in Kampala, I saw the man, the boy, I can say the boy of my boss. So I really heard of him talking about Saudi Arabia. And me, I really thought like, hey, Saudi Arabia is like United States of America. Like you can see Atlanta in Georgia, Florida. You can see Los Angeles in California. You just admire it. But there, I really thought that they are Christian, but I know there are some Arabs who are Christian, but most of them they are Muslims. So, and I really looked for a chance so that I could get the person. And I told him, I have got the passport. How can you sort me out? Let me tell you, Eddie Max. Hey, I didn't knew that boy was a gay. So he gave me an opportunity to sleep with him, so that he could process for me the papers. So I sorted him out. I satisfied him like for 1 good week.
Since you are also in that business, so you just felt it's okay.
Yeah, because I was being used to it. So I gave him, and he told me, hey, you are an expert. Because, I used to process for me all the documents, the visa, and use his own money. So after all, I came and wished my grandmother a visit, and I told her, grandmother, I'm traveling to Saudi Arabia. My grandmother told me, I would give you my blessing. So after all, my visa came. My visa came because I went for a medical. Visa came, and the ticket came. Ticket, I took the flight from Entebbe Airport. From Entebbe Airport to Ethiopia. Ethiopia to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And I met my boss, who was known as Mohammed at that time. Because when I started it wasn't easy. And I saw some. He took me from the airport because we used the back door. It was a broker. So when I went to the dorm, I found Kenyans, Ugandans, Ethiopians, and some other nationalities and Nigerians.
So that you are going to do which kind of job?
As a cleaner.
Okay.
Cleaner, because, but me, I really thank my God. I really made a good boss. But in terms of food, it was good. In terms of, but working, we used to work. We used to work
non-stop.
So me, when I was in Saudi Arabia, I started working as a cleaner. We go and start washing, start cleaning the walls. Do you know in Saudi Arabia we clean the walls because it's a desert country. Then most of the time you find dust. They are painted their walls, so you clean them. You ensure they are clean. They are clean. After you move from cleaning, you go to gardening, and from that, me, I really thought after working for 6 good months, I saw the salary it was little because the Kenyans they were being given 1,500 riyals, but me was being given 900 riyals. I really thought, how?
It was so little.
So I must look for another opportunity so that I could have more money. When I go to Uganda, I become a tycoon. I become a boss, my own boss.
So you went back to your job again.
Yeah, LGBTQ. And I really met a Nigerian. You know, most of them they had gotten into a dry spell. He had a dry spell. So I really thought, okay. And I told him, I can sort you out, but you must give me 100 riyal so that I could do for you. And he gave me the money, and I sorted him out. So after sorting him out, the Nigerian, and I started.
So you slept with him?
Yeah, I slept with him, with the Nigerian. And I didn't feel no shame because I was looking for money. Because, do you know, for example, he says, is Kikuyu. For example, is Kikuyu. Do you know me? My father is Kikuyu Giriama, my mother. But me, I'm being used to the behavior of Kikuyu. Because
you mean you're a Kikuyu?
My father, yeah. Is a Kikuyu. His original is Kikuyu, but they were being given land by Kenyatta that the coast. So we say we say besha ne besha, wera ne we, because work is work. Work is work, money is money. As long as you want something from, you must sweat and you must risk. I started even sleeping with Philippines, with Indonesians. But there's a day when I was working, the boss was delaying our salary. And we used to work in hard labor. Sometimes you go and you are weeding the watermelons, and you know the sunshine or the sun rays when they reach you in Saudi Arabia. It's a desert country. Desert country. You're working, you feel like no, it's like this place is hell. I'm going to die. And I really thought like, no, I must do something. Must do something. You know, there's a one time an Ethiopian started complaining, and he wanted to fight with our boss. So our boss told us, you should climb upstairs, go at the top of the building. So do you know the Ethiopian was being thrown from the building up and down?
For what reason?
For messing with for messing up with our boss and that Arab Mohammed.
So that's what they normally do.
They kill people.
They
then
kill you.
Yeah, because there's nothing you can do for them. They have money. They can go and corrupt their police officers. That's all. And if you go to report it to the police officer, even you too, you are in danger. Because where you will still return to, and you'll be killed.
So he threw him from the rooftop.
From the rooftop down to down floor.
Okay.
So do you know me? I really felt like no, I was afraid. You know me, sometimes I was being frightened. I feel like weird. Oh, is this? Does this man have humanity? So me, I really looked for a way how I can sort it. So when I was washing, one day we had Mohammed, because you know my friend who used to work in Saudi Arabia told me Ugandans, they like sleeping with, they told me Arabs, they like sleeping with their wives in their house. So yeah, so me I really thought, of course I've got an advantage. So do you know, like for example, I called my witch doctor. So he told me.
So you had a witch doctor there. Still you are communicating with him.
So I told him, how can I do so that this man shouldn't kill me? So he told me, I'll do something. He'd want you, he'd do this and that for you. So do you know when Mohammed we were washing, I finished. So I called him. Do you know he has practiced everything for me. And I slept with Mohammed. So Mohammed started giving me little job and even selling me to other Arabs in Saudi Arabia. But you know, doing homosexual or being a gay in Saudi Arabia is illegal. You can be sentenced to death.
It's not allowed. Huh?
Yeah, it is. You can be sentenced to death, and they have got their own laws. If you are being found stealing, and you do not accept, you will be cut both hands. But if you do, if you accept, cut one, or they will see how they can do to you. If you are being found there doing prostitution or you're doing adultery, if you are doing fornication, you will be banned, you too. So in Arab, in terms you find if you want a girl, a man can come and tell you he wants you, and if he has a dowry, pay, then they marry cousins to cousin.
So cousins get married?
Yeah, cousin to cousin, so that they
in Saudi Arabia.
But I don't know nowadays. But it depends. But most of them they practice it.
I only know of India. Indians are the ones
Arabs
who do that.
Even Arabs. Do you know? As I was working in Saudi Arabia, Mohammed shipped me to Egypt. So that I could be working for him. You know, we used to travel. So when we were being used to travel with Mohammed in Egypt, I worked there like some like 1 good year, because like you say like 2 good years in Saudi Arabia, 1 good year because he's the one who connected me. Seeing that gay process, and I used to work in Egypt, doing as a cleaner, sometimes going to Egypt and packing breads and cookies. When we returned back to Saudi Arabia, when we used to do our gay process or LGBTQ process, we used to talk with the cameraman, because the cameras, they are all over. So,
CCTV cameras.
CCTV. So I used to sleep with the cameraman, so the cameraman switches off.
You also sleep with the cameraman,
so
that she switches off
because
the CCTV cameras.
because if he found it, because if they found it, it's me, I'm in danger. Or that room, all of us will be killed.
So you mean that place was full of gays?
Yeah. Some of them, they were married up there, but most of the men, they cannot really stand. You understand as a human being, because being in a dry spell for 2 good years is not really easy. And Saudi Arabia is very hot.
Oh, so some of them have left their wives
in their home
countries.
Yeah. Like, and me, even to me, when I was even sleeping with Mohammed, I asked Mohammed, and if your wife finds out, how would you be? He told me he was even too practicing.
So Mohammed was married.
He had married.
Was he living together with the wife?
But we weren't living at the same place. Mohammed had lent us he had some plots. So he had given us some other area to go and live. Because I don't even know
his
wife, the way she looks. I know only the children, because I used to see the children when she was coming when he was coming with them at a workplace, or when we used to go with the car with them. So when I was asking him, do you have a wife? And he told me, yes. And I asked them, why don't you feel afraid of sleeping with me? So he told me he used to sleep with sleeping with his own wife in the ass.
What?
So
and the wife accepted?
In Saudi Arabia, they do like that. You find, like, for example, they do not have family planning method. So when they want to get back, it's in front. When they for enjoyment, back.
That's serious.
So it is not something that's it is new to them. Like, for example, you find in Saudi Arabia, when in terms of the papers, those they used to serve us our foods in the papers, in the paper bags, which we go with them for shopping, the shops. But me, I really told myself I must survive in this country, so that I could achieve the way I want, things that I wanted. But Eddie Max, my auntie was eating my money. She wasn't even saving my money for me with my grandmother.
So you are working, sending the money back to your home country, Uganda?
Yeah. Then
they didn't save anything for you?
They saved me the money, but the money which I used to send for them, it was more than that. So I really told myself, how can I be working as a gay, doing the homosexual process, and they were eating my money? Even nowadays I feel like crying, but
don't worry,
because
shall be well. They misused
because
your money.
I wanted to be a rich person. When even
how much money had you sent them?
Like 600,000.
600,000.
And at that time, because I returned back in 2010.
In a period of how long?
2 good years.
Oh, 2 years. Huh?
So when I found
you managed to save 600,000.
Yeah, because when I finished my contract, Mohammed really asked me, should I cut for you another ticket to return to Saudi Arabia? I told him yes, because my friend told me, if I couldn't tell him yes, he could hand over my my passport because you know in Arab's country we are being sold as a slave. So your boss has your passport. For example, they used to call us boy. So you as a girl, they call you Shagala or Kadama. You are a house girl. Or me as a boy, house boy. Or you can say just the worker who works there. And I really imagined. I told myself, you know, I didn't before knowing it. I really told myself, starting from nowadays, I won't be selling myself, but I would be coming to Kenya for mitumba, selling them to Uganda and cooking my own bubble seeds, the kashata, the groundnuts. I would open a big bee, but going there, the money which I found is 50,000 only. 50 Uganda. It was like, I can say like 100, but when you convert it into Kenyan shillings, it becomes like 50 Kenyan shillings. But in Uganda it's like 100. So I returned back to South Africa.
50,000.
So after I returned back to South Africa. After returning back to South Africa, looking for more greener pastures. I didn't even find my boyfriend. I went there. They told me we do not know the person like because he was being known as Kumalo. Because have you seen Kumalo? Because there was a woman who was being known as Gisaina, because he was being known all over Gisaina. So and I really asked myself, what's wrong? Do you know me? I used to know South Africa, even a little bit of Arabs, but Arabs I wasn't being used to it. Because you know, if you want to be used to Arabs, at least you must live at least with children to cope with it. So I relocated to Botswana, to Gaborone, so that I could see whether there was something. So when I went to Gaborone, I started even selling myself, but selling myself and doing the gay process. Doing at least in Botswana, life is good, but the climate, the weather is too harsh because of the sunshine. But Botswana at least is a good place to be. And when I was back in South Africa, I really saw like the economy has changed. It wasn't like the way I used to live there. Because I imagine everything. Then do you know when I was sleeping in Botswana, I used to sleep on the streets sometimes to survive, because you may find there in Zimbabwe. Do you know Zimbabwe is a country which they were being put into sanction. Their mind does not have value, so they penetrate all over. So but many Zimbabweans, they have been found in South Africa. Even they used to say me I look like them, because I used to know how to speak the Ndebele. And you know, when you know how to speak the Ndebele is like is being assimilated, like it has similarities, like it's like assimilation. It's like similar to Zulu, because the way they speak, nothing. But you may know how to differentiate a Zulu and Ndebele. When I went to Botswana, struggling in that place, you know, we must give them something. You must be put in the stamp, because you know, when you are in Zimbabwe, you cannot cross easily to Botswana. But when you're in South Africa, you can cross easily to Botswana. And I started working there, getting even some jobs in Tswana people, and selling myself sometimes. When I stayed there, at least I returned to something. I carried at least a little bit of money. Then when they started looking for illegal foreigners, house to houses, I turned back to South Africa, and I returned to Zimbabwe. After staying in Bulawayo in Zimbabwe, this was like, this in the country, no. Let me just return to Uganda. Via Uganda, I come to Kenya. So after all, I feel like I was bored. So when I put my passport on the table, I think my auntie had my passport. Because during a year, she was very wicked. After all, because she has seen my success. So me, when I decided, I
The
decided,
sister to your mother.
so I decided to do what? To record to care, to look for my father, because she was living in Pangani.
Oh, he was living in Pangani.
Yeah. And she was being known. He was being known. And I greeted him.
How did you know he's your father?
We used to stay with him long, but then I know my father very well. I won't forget my father, because he even he used to communicate with us when we were young, because when we used to close school, we used to come to care.
Oh, okay.
And I really wanted to tell people many things. I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. Those countries, it's not really easy to live there. Then many people, they're very wicked. When I came to Kenya, at least I did most of the business, but the business failed. When the business failed, I returned back to school, so that I could.
You had reached in which class?
Class 6. So I returned.
So you went back to class 6.
And I didn't have the papers, so I forged my years, so that I could study. And it's in this Kenyan school, I used to have small body at that time, because life has beaten me, and I finished. I went to the.
So you finished Form 4?
Yeah, I finished Form 4. And it wasn't easy. Sometimes when paying school fees, when I had a friend who told me there's a white man in Buruburu who used to sleep with.
And who was paying your school fees?
Me, on my own, myself.
What were you doing?
I was selling groundnuts and working in Isili as a hotel. Sometimes school. Sometimes I was an absentee, because I used to go to school I used to go to school 3 days. I did not go on Friday, Saturday, and Monday. I go to school on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday only.
It was a Gumbaru.
Yeah, a Gumbaru school. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can just say it wasn't a Gumbaru. It was Dr. Munya. And sometimes the school, some of the school in Nairobi, they are negligence. Then they do not want to care. But I really thank my God, I have papers, and I teach most of the people in this world. It is not really easy to open up your story to people.
And you're also saying that you met a white man through your friend.
When I met, my friend connected him to him. So at that time, I had a lot of problems, most of the challenges. So I slept with him.
Again?
Yeah, so that I could pay my school fees, pay up my rent.
By that time, where were you living?
I was living in Kariobangi.
Who were you living with?
I was living with a Kikuyu woman who I used to be his own caretaker. But you must at least, because looking for food, you are in school, you must at least struggle, so that the human beings, they treat you. So he gave me 30,000 Kenya shillings. At least it boosted me, because I used to sell groundnuts and bubble seeds in school. And
so that white man used to give you money after sleeping with him?
He told me just one time.
Oh, okay.
Because wants to see, okay, are you able? Then he told me about the marriage, and he told him I was school, but he told me, you are still here. I will just leave for you for one night. And finish.
He paid you how much?
30,000 Kenyan shillings.
That's expensive.
You are not cheap. Most of the guys,
So you charge very expensive.
Okay. Because it is one night. Some even you find most of the guys in Koinange, or you can just say some of them, they do even online. They have even sponsors. They charge even 100K only one night. Or you buy him a house, I become your wife, or I become your husband.
Why is it that expensive?
I don't even know, but you know we charge expensive. You know, it's like you're risking.
So you mean you still do that job?
I haven't found the customer which I haven't found the customers.
Customer,
of,
you are
yeah, the customers of my price.
Colin.
But
You mean you charge how much?
me, I
Credit
haven't
card yako
getting,
ni ngapi?
I can say like nowadays 100K.
100K for
Yeah.
a man to sleep with you.
But yeah, there was somebody who told me if wants to process for me paper because I wanted to go and work in United States of America and Canada. So I told him 500,000. He was a man from England, and the way I saw him, he was sick. You know, it was a way of refusing him because you can be going with anyone because you know the syphilis, STI diseases, they can affect me.
You mean you don't use protection? The gays don't use protection?
They don't use protection.
Sure.
I don't know, but at a time we didn't use protection. But I know in Kenya they use. But you know when you are in Arab, there are no protection.
So you said you are looking for a customer. You are still into that job.
Today, no, I have stopped it because you know
When did
Kenya's,
you stop that job?
long time ago.
And why are you still looking for a customer?
You know the economy of Zakayo.
But jobs are many. There are a lot of things that you can do.
Even me too, I'm selling bubbles, but it does not give me enough because you know you invest in that business, it falls out, your money goes on. So you really wonder how does my money go on, goes, and it does not give me feedback, my profit.
And do you ever regret doing whatever you did?
Yeah, because they eated my money. That I can say that I regret.
No, leave alone money, but your body is involved.
Because
pia nasikianga watu wanafanya hizo vitu magays wanaendesha anyhow. They end up even using diapers.
If you're being used to it, you know, it depends how professional you are.
So you are professional.
I was professional, but when you know you are being, but you know nowadays I can say inategemea na vile venye uko, vile venye unajiweka. Wezi tu na kila mtu. Inategemea. Kila mtu
aje? What do you mean?
You must have a specific person. Then you're being used to it. See ati pia tunaenda kila mtu. Unajua pia it depends. When you want to have sex with him, he must apply gel. Kwa your penis. So ukishazoea ni hivyo.
Na ushawahi experience hiyo kitu ya kuendesha after
mara ya kwanza? At first time, but
ulihandle aje?
Si unazoea kupaka tu mafuta hata pia wewe. You apply it on in your ass. That all. But hiyo kazi si rahisi. Kama hiyo kazi it's risking. You are risking because you can even get HIV and AIDS. Because I used to remember there's my friend in Zimbabwe up to nowadays is HIV positive. But me, every time I got, I'm negative. I don't have that kind of disease because you know when you get HIV and AIDS, like you are in a coma, you are dead.
So challenges are your job, ni gani?
You find like you have slept with a man, he refuses to pay you. Some of them anakuchukulia advantage. They give you money, they insult you. Some of them unapata nakwambia ulambe hiyo kitu yake, imagine. Sasa nakwambia ulambe kwanza ndio ingize. Sasa unashanga utafanya aje? Juu anakwambia unataka pesa. Kama mzungu wa buru si rahisi, sitaki kudanganya ati kudanganya ati hiyo pesa ingine pata kwa rahisi.
Hiyo 30,000.
Anakwambia kwanza it tells you should lick his own penis. Until it becomes soft. So he applies the gel and he start intersection with you, sexual intersection with your ass. So it is not really easy. Then some of them they lie to you. It is one man, but you find you can sleep even with 4 men.
So they sell you to other customers. And what do you think you can do that can change this thing, change your life, utoke kwa hiyo line kabisa? Because umesema uliacha, but kidogo kidogo it's like you are in, you are out.
Do you know challenges ni maisha ya Kenya? Mimi nimejaribu kutafuta job. I would like to become an actor or like a host. But nimetafuta hiyo kazi, nimetafuta kuchoka. Unajua hata male anajiuza si kwenda kwake wengine. Ni challenges.
And have you talked to counselors?
Even counsel you? I've gone even to MP Mwenje. But where?
No, I'm talking of counselors wanakuja wanakucancel how to live this thing, and maybe how you can change your life. You can go to church.
Do you know there are some, it depends ni wewe mwenyewe. Hata kuna wengine hata kwa cancel hata ufanyie nini, ni wewe tu mwenyewe kwa.
Do you go to church?
No.
And have you ever gone to church?
Yeah. Ni wewe mwenyewe vile unaona. Unajua kuna wengine akishafanya he gets what he wanted anawacha. But kuna mwingine is being used to it. Kama mimi niliona madhara yake, nikaona kuna kitu kinanisaidia. Juu unatafuta ule mtu akusettle naye at least akusaidia hata kama ni uende na Europe. Communication cut off. Unajaribu. Hata ukiambia hata mtu akutafutia hata visa ya kwenda Qatar. Juu mimi unajua mimi I used to be a broker.
Broker wa nini?
Kupelekana nje, si mimi sio yangu. Napelekea mama customer nani au kupeleka huko nje hata kama ni wasichana. It pays you something, but vile venye serikali iliingilia mambo ya mabroker wakafu. So the job at least it used to sustain me because you know naelezea vile venye utakuwa nafanya mambo ya cleaning. Unajua sio wote pia hiyo kazi tunafundisha tu hiyo kazi juu pia expose kila mahali. Unawaambia wanaweza fanya hivi, ukienda kwa Mwarabu asifanye hivi juu I've lived with Arabs. Me I know Arabs very well. If unataka kuishi na Mwarabu, lazima umuonyeshe unakaa kama mjinga. Hata kutukana unamwambia pole, kwanza unajifanya kama unalia. Lakini ukijifanya wewe ni kichwa atakumali. Then in Arab country kama unajua mtu ni lazy unamwambia kama unajua ni lazy usijaribu kuwe.
Have you ever had a girlfriend in your life?
Mara moja, lakini tukua ile step ile sana, labda hii ya watoto wadogo kama class 6.
Na ushawaita mani labda kwa na mmoja?
Mzungu
Mzungu. So in future you would love to have a family?
Yeah. And
how will you have a family kama bado uko kwa gays?
Unajua gays mimi nategemea, lakini mimi sasa niliwacha. Unajua ni shida inafanyanga mtu inakutisha kwa kitu. But you know when you settle. For example nikipata hata kama ni hiyo job ya theater, hata niitwe kwa audition mahali. Hata kwa Kenya Theater. Nianze hata ni pata hizo scripts, uone vile nafanya kama niko sawa. Because you know I've been looking for that role Mama Soweto. But getting the connection ndio shida. Hata sisi peke yetu. In Kenya kuna watu wanafanya but chini ya maji because of problems. Some of them you find like their families. Kama for example nakuta like watu wengi sunisikia stories juu kijana mmoja uliwangwa DJ. Ni DJ nani? Huyu alimalizangu. Huyu mwenye alirepiwangwa zina Samido ni nani? Si Samido. Huyu alirepiwangwa kuna mtu wa mtu alirepiwangwa na mtu fulani. Hiyo story trend huyu mama yake alikuwa Qatar. Ni mtu mdogo bado. Sasa unakuta like for example huyu mama hakuwa anatumia mtu huyo pesa. So hata wewe sema hata nikurepiwa labda hata kijana alifanywa labda kitu akajiua. Because you find most of the people in that situation, me I counsel people. Tell people kwa kwanza wanisikilize na wenye wanataka kunisikiliza wanisikilize.
So una counsel watu wanafanya hiyo
juu wa mama unakuta wenye unakutanga wengi wenye wanafanya hiyo kazi mama zao kwa nje. So the family wenye wanatumia hizo pesa wanaku
their wives, so you mean
anyone the relatives ameachwa kama second king. So unapata mtu anajiingiza kwa tabia na sasa unajua Kenya imelegaliziwa, sasa kuna pale tupeleka mtu.
Do you wish to have children in future?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I wish to have at least the 0.5 children or the weight children.
The
0.5.
What do you mean?
The mulatto children. The 0.5 who have curly hair. Some of them look like whites.
And why do you just love whites?
Do you know,
white women?
Do you know, I really saw them, they are really romantic.
You've ever dated one? A white woman?
in South Africa, yeah, but when we realized I was having a we broke up
Since you were gay?
in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But they are romantic, and they, when you live with white, you show her your honesty. We live together.
But here in Kenya we have very few whites.
Yeah.
Where are you planning to get them, or you are planning to fly out of Kenya?
I'm planning. I've got plans, but you know, because if I would have more money, I'll look for a person who can process for me, so that I would go to work. You know, when you start interacting with whites, you get someone. You won't get it. You say that I won't get anyone. Because there are more, and there are some who are looking for black men. I'll get one.
Right. Currently, what do you do for a living?
I sell baobab seeds. I work in Isili. I nurse a 11-year-old child who sits in the wheelchair.
Whose child is it?
A Somali woman.
So you take care of a child. You are employed.
I act as a nurse, because even if I don't have a course, but that has been my favorite course. Being a nurse, actor, and a chef. And I sell my baobab seeds at the center. If they just ask Mama Soweto, you just find me. Just say kijana ule Mabuyu or Mama Soweto. If you just say Mama Soweto, and sometimes even you can find me in Jacaranda. Because being known as Mama Soweto. Then too, I practice singing, and I do sometimes, I teach people how to cook.
You know how to cook?
Yeah, I know to cook. Mahamri, biryani, those soil dishes, gurusa, the Nubian food, gurusa din, gurusa layu, and walwalwal.
Who do you stay with?
I stay with my sister in our home. We're in Dandora. But now she has gone. She has gone to work in Saudi Arabia. So I'm staying lonely now.
Does your sister know that you are a gay?
Yeah.
She is aware.
She's aware, but you know, I told him I've changed. When I told him, she cried about the story in Saudi Arabia, in South Africa, and he told me, "Wewe mwenyewe ulijitaki, but nakuele."
So believe in your family you have young children, watoto ambao bado hawajajielewa. Do you think hawaogopi kwamba kukaa na mtu kama wewe, wanafeel kwamba maybe unaweza chukua watoto wao ama?
Mimi najua maisha nizo. Hata mimi
You've never experienced that.
Mimi my sister anajuanga mimi nakaa, hata sister yeye anajuanga mimi naweza kana watu wake vizuri. Kaishi. Yeye anajua mimi, you know, kuna vitu huwezi fanyia watoto, then when umeamua kuchange. Si juu hata ufanye nini, hii pesa hata uitafute miaka nenda miaka rudi. Haitosha? So fuata to the right process. Kama unajua unaiba, acha tu kuiba. Mimi naambia katu hivyo watu. Kama una hizi shortcuts, umalaya nini, uliza hata malaya atakwambia. Juu at the end of the day ni wewe mwenyewe unaumianga.
So you are against it?
I'm against it because unajua ukifanya unasikianga uchungu. Nakwambia kwanza mara kwanza akiniambia KD Max, when you imagine, it is very painful. Hata unaweza hata kutoka damu. Unasikia uchungu mwingine hata unajisikia maishani mwako. But lazima ujikaze juu ni pesa unatafu. And you know, in South Africa you must escape xenophobia. You know, imagine somebody taking a tire and putting in then it takes a fuel. And imagine how would you feel? One struggle with it. Then staying outside with cold. Sometimes you are in Cape Town and you imagine the Cape Town, the weather. It's winter on December. Na unajishikilia tu, ni shida inafanyanga. Usione ati kama wengine pia nikupenda ati kwa shida. Then pia warabuni mateso. Unajua pia mateso ikishafika mahali. Unaambianga government waingililie tafadhali mambo. Si mtu kupenda watu lazima watu wajipeleka. Mbona wasitupeleke Europe? Hata kama ni mtu afanya, hata kama ni 6 good months arudi. Tutarudi. Mimi I have passport. I have Kenyan passport because my Ugandan passport being cleared by my aunt. Nika nimerudisha nyuma at least nipate chance ya ku. And because you know the younger the faster you go. Because I know to speak English. I can do more. I can do more interviews, but you know the money. You nakuta like for example like sai 20 bure kama kitambo. When you want to go to Saudi Arabia, you must have 120, Qatar 150, Dubai 1200. Wait labda 250.
So unataka kwenda Europe?
Mimi nikipata Europe mimi ngangana nikipata hata kama hata ndia.
You have a passport right now?
I have a passport.
You never know.
Atujuangi ya kesho.
Hata
kama hata ni South Africa, hata even anyone who wants to pay me.
And you're sure ukienda Europe ama ukienda hizo country unataka you'll be able to change your life?
Mimi I will change my life. Juu Kenya hakuna kazi sahi. Juu Edimax unaekelea kazi yako pale. Kanjo ndi hao. Mimi niko karibu na babu wenu, hata naambia babu wenu. Kanjo ndio wanatusumbua, Kanjo anatusumbuaga. Nilikuwa hata nikiambia hata Jalango tafadhali kama kuna vile anaweza nisaidia. Anisaidie tu juu mimi nimeamua kuchange. Juu hiyo kazi aliyoifanya when I was practicing as a gay. The money benefited my church and my aunt. Na sasa shughulika na hata sijui hata sasa mtu kuniuliza kama sasa hivi wako hata sijui shughulika nao. And I don't have time. Jota nasikia ni kama ile land kama walisha sell hiyo land shoshoto na sell kufanya kama walisha they sold the land. Washughulike nao nikasema hiyo ni sawa mimi siko hapo.
Why did you decide to share this story?
Because I see more young youth doing those things. Do you know, I feel like no. You get to see lazy. And I would like to counsel people because that's my role. When I take the role of Mama Soweto, even if I'm a man, I'm counseling the upcoming generation. Because this thing, tusipochunga sikudanganyi yaki. Our population it will decline. Then kuhusu mambo ya kupeleka unajua pia like for example when I slept with an Arab boy so that I could fly to Saudi Arabia, when I slept with the white man or the African man, Afrikaner man in South Africa, so that I could survive, you know, problems. So kama ni mzazi tengenezea mtu wako few, usizae tu ile ovyo ovyo, unajua umeka insurance in case of anything. Watu wako watangaika kufanya hizo tabia hizo mbaya mbaya. Then nimesema at least unajua pia kila mtu akona benefit yake. So that anyone who listens to me kama akona kazi anaweza nitafutia hata kama ni ya kuact. Au atakuwa host. Ni host hata kama ni channel yake. Nitamsaidia.
You can host?
Yeah, me more people hata kama ni stories za Saudi. Kuna wengi hata najua wenye wameenda Saudi but time ndio shi.
Hebu host kidogo dakika moja tusikie vile una host.
Good morning guys. Good. Wacha nianze basi niko serious. Welcome guys to our channel. Here I want to represent our story. This story is very frustrating and it teaches us many lessons. And I want to introduce myself. I want to introduce my friend who is here, who has been working in Saudi Arabia, and he has many and a lot to tell us.
Wow, that's great. You have that passion. You can also go ahead and go to media school, do media. You might get a well-wisher out there who is willing to take you back to school.
Then nilikuwa naomba hata nikipata hata kama niyo hata catering course because we
can also do well in catering.
Catering course. Na hiyo mambo ya kuimba. Then nisome foreign languages because I like learning foreign language. You
also said you are an actor.
Yeah, an actor. Do you know as an actor, you must know how to speak many languages. For example, me I know to speak Kikuyu. Even most of people they say, yakueleweka. For example, I can speak Luo, I can Koro, Aongewach, Amosi, Ilal. So in Kikuyu we say we mwega de mwega, modo wa nyoba, oradi tinaku, nadira rugete. So in Giriama we say salam kaze salamuka, okuja kuniambira. In Kibukusu we say burai. In Zulu we say, for example, I like speaking Zulu. You know, most of the time I see them in SABC. You say wena, when amandonda like you say you're a boy. Like like me, for example, vendor, I feel talented when I see teaching people the way I saw in vendor. Like you find even South Africa, they eat ugali, but they have got their own name. We call it K-pop. With they eat even two termites. This being known as newama juru. The pumpkin seeds omutongo ribo. So I like teaching people the culture. Then I like learning more languages like French, Spanish. Do you know when you are an actor, when you go somewhere, it is not must to be translated. You just go there. When you find people that are speaking Spanish, you speak Spanish. You say Española. When you go to French, bonjour.
Española.
Yeah. When you go to France, you want to act. It's not about you must rhyme with them. Bonjour.
Wow.
Ça va bien. So when you go to act with Luya, you don't have stress. We are acting in Kisa language or in Samia. We say otie. So you must know how, to be.
So give us a little piece, yeah, just act kidogo tu, and then utatuimbia kidogo as we wind up. Yeah.
So do you know, guys, it's me, Mama Soweto. Do you know I don't tolerate nonsense from men. Me, you want to go and marry my daughter and you are in a poverty condition. Hey, you told me about love. Who told you there's love? There's no love. Oh, there's no love. Love without money, it is unstandable or unsuitable for Mama Soweto. At first place, Mama Soweto does not want poverty. If you know you are a son-in-law looking for Mama Soweto's daughter, hey, Ngwena, never come to Mama Soweto if you are in a poverty condition. You must have enough money, enough cows, and enough, we can say approaching, so that when I see you have got the qualities which I want, I would accept you. Goodbye.
A song.
So let me start. This song is being used, is my uncreated song. They may talk about my body. They may talk about my color. They may talk about my moment. Na 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 na. They may talk about it. Who? They may talk about it. Who? They may talk about it. They may talk about it. They may talk about Jalango. They may talk about Jalango. Is a handsome man. Is our MP of Langata. And is very hardworking. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. You are always ours, Jalango. We love you. It's me, Mama Soweto, the upcoming actor, and ex-Saudi Arabia.
Wow, great. Yeah. Where do we find you on social media?
You can find me on TikTok, Mama Soweto, and on YouTube channel, Mama Soweto. So you can follow me on TikTok and like and comment, positive comments. And on YouTube, you can subscribe, like, and you share my videos. And me, I really appreciate because you have invited me in two good hands. And I just tell God to help me so that my talent nurtures, so that I should not stand to that work of being a gay, because you know that work is so horrifying. It really destroys your personality. You are being,
it lowers your dignity.
Then you know when people see you, they stigmatize you. But people, I can say the people, they stigmatize me most of the time, because I can just say God has given me the favor. The favor. So people, when they see me, they say like it is a lie, I'm speaking a lie. And
also remember that your body is the temple of God. And I've heard you mention God, meaning God is great in your life. So it's my prayer that you change. And if you can find a church, visit a church, because God is the only way to go. And I wish you all the best as you plan to change. May you change and may you never go back to where you are. Otherwise, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to interview you at Jalango TV. And I've been talking to him here, Mama Soweto. Anajulikana kama Mama Soweto, but jina lake ni Collins.
Aura.
Collins Aura. And to our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. In case you have any comment, just comment there in the comment section. And also, in case you have a story to share, don't forget to inbox us. We have a number there. Just inbox us and we'll be able to reach you out. And I have been your host, Eddie Max, with my director, Daya. Thank you.